First Samuel 15 and 2. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. Baraka for Yahweh, Baraka for Yahweh, Baraka for Yahweh, Baraka for Yahweh. All honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh, Bahashem, or Karkadas. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and teachers at Great Millstone for teaching me this 100% truth about our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and the true reason why he's coming back, which is to save the elect remnant of the house of Israel from their enemies and those that hate them, and to take over the earth and universe, which is given to him by the mighty, mighty Yahweh himself, the ancient of days, wherein our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, will establish righteousness throughout the whole earth and universe forever under the kingdom of the heaven of the Israelites in Shalom, Akim, and Akwash. We one day closer to the kingdom. Back at you with a quick message because of more shameful spewing on the glory of Amalek as it is written. We're going to get there. Let's just read this in the NLT right quick. Because the Lord, slowly but surely, by little and little, is bringing down the house of Amalek, which is the head tribe of the house of Esau Edom, the so-called modern day white man. And Amalek is the so-called modern day J-E-ish, right? The ones who are related to Steven Spielberg and Harvey Weinstein, Benjamin Netanyahu, right? This is what Yahweh of heaven's armies has declared. I have decided to settle accounts with the nation of Amalek. You know what that is, right? So-called modern day ish person, the 48 fakers, the small hats, right? I have decided to settle accounts with the nation of Amalek who oppose Israel. Who's Israel? The 12 tribes, so-called modern day African Americans, Native Americans, and Latinos. We're telling you this, better start paying attention to Israel, because we're going to find out who is who. Each day we get closer to the kingdom. More shameful spewing is going on the glory of Esau Edom, and their head tribe being Amalek. This is what Yahweh of Heaven's armies has declared. I have decided to settle accounts with the nation of Amalek who opposed Israel when they came from Egypt. Now go and completely destroy the entire Amalekite nation, men, women, children, babies, cattle, sheep, goats, camels, and donkeys. Right? The Lord commanded Saul to kill everything associated with the Amalekites, right? Because they're a wicked nation. And let's go with this. Go back to the KJV right quick. We'll get a couple of scriptures. Then we're going to play a couple of news clips. One from Katie Harper and one from Times of India, right? Let me get this. Right. Let's get rid of that too. Exodus 17 and 16. He said, they have raised their fist against Yahweh's throne, so now, Sabbath, there's been enmity between the so-called modern day white man and black man, so-called modern day black man, since the book of Genesis. So that's thousands of years ago. But two-thirds of our people only want to save one group of people on this earth other than themselves, according to this Christian doctrine that they came up with. It's a whole nother lesson, replacement theology, right? They don't care about the Moabites, the so-called modern day Chinese man, so-called Israelite. You ain't trying to, ain't no Christian trying to convert no, no, shit like this. I haven't seen so-called African American Christian try to convert a so-called Arabian or Ismailite Muslim, why y'all so concerned about these Edomites, so-called modern day white men, right? So way back, this is Exodus, man. We coming up out of Egypt, right? Joshua overwhelmed it in verse 13, Exodus 17:13. Right? As a result, Joshua overwhelmed the army of Amalek in battle. Why? Because they didn't want us coming through their land. The Edomites, the land of Edom, which is modern day Jordan, right? After the victory, Yahweh instructed Moses, write this down on a scroll, which is the scriptures, as a permanent reminder, and read it aloud to Joshua. I will erase the memory of Amalek from under heaven. That's a future prophecy. Because as you can tell, they still here, right? And look at that. They put their E in. Moses built an altar there and named it, it's supposed to be Yahweh Nissi, which means Yahweh is my banner. He said they have raised their fist against Yahweh's throne. Who? The modern day Edomites, so-called modern day white men. And of them, the ones that's related to being smokers from them and being converted. Huh? He said they have raised their fist against Yahweh's throne, so now Yahweh will be at war with Amalek from generation to generation. That's why you get to the book of Samuel. He told Saul to eliminate their enemies, but Saul didn't listen. Right? Let's get another scripture before we play this podcast. All right, let's go to Numbers. Now, this will let you know there ain't no such thing as a replacement theology. You boys can add it to the book. Because Balaam, what did he say? He said he wished he could be in Israel or that nation. You can't be that man. Hmm. Matter of fact, let me get into KJV's first. Listen. Then we get into that too. Right. Yeah. This people shall be. This people shall be. Thy people. I was trying to find what I do it for another lesson. Let me just get to the point of this. We're gonna play this good music, right? So now he giving a fate of what's gonna happen to everybody in the latter end, which are the times that we're in right now, right? Right. So you got to get the backdrop right quick, right? Balak tried to put a curse. He was a king of Moab, right? So like, let me just get the prophecy. Be good. So good. Teaching for their trash. Once that power came upon them, right? They get Amalekite king. Yeah, but like paid Balaam to put a curse on us, but the Lord gave Balaam a vision and said, "You can't put no curse on them. They're not my people." With the paraphrase. And Balaam said he wished he could be with us. That's what I'm trying to find. But anyway, let's get to this right. So he took up the saying, the parable against all the other nations, right? He was in a train. So this is what Balaam said, right? Numbers 24:17. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not now, but not near. There shall come a star out of Jacob, talking about Yahweh Mashiach, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Seth, meaning the Chinese, that modern day Chinese got control. And Edom, the modern day white man, shall be a possession, right? Y'all going into captivity. Sure also shall be a possession for his enemies. And Israel shall do valiantly, and we don't do good, right? Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, thou shalt Mashiach, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city, right? Let's get to the point for this lesson, right? Numbers 24:20. And when he looked on Amalek, the modern day so-called J. Ishmael, right? He took up this parable and said Amalek was the first of the nations, right? But its latter end, the times we in now, shall be that he perish forever, right? Shameful spewing is on their glory. That's why I read in Obadiah. Read the whole thing. Behold, I've made these smaller ones evil. Thou art greatly despised, right? Of all the little nations, Amalek, especially in the house of Esau, Edom, number wise, they the smallest ones, right? Obadiah 1:6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? They trying to keep falling upon themselves. They telling on each other. They mad. The lower level Edomites from the other houses is not of the house of Teman or Amalek. They mad, right? They telling on each other. All the men of our confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Now you got nations like Egypt, right? The Edomites pay Egypt to stay off the Amalekites' ass, right? And then you got other nations that's complicit too. Turkey, right? They complicit. Erdogan, they leader. His little private, the little private citizens in Turkey, they love boys. They got deals, backdoor deals with Jared Kushner, right? The Edomites over here in the mine. Jared Kushner, the Amalekite, son-in-law to who? DJ. They got all these little deals because they covered fields, thinking that they're gonna clear out the land, the Gaza Strip, and the West Bank and rebuild it, right? So you got a lot of private citizens from Turkey that's involved in it, right? But in this clip, you're gonna see the citizens of Turkey, they are upset with Erdogan, they leave. Sedition among men, right? Second Ezra, 15th chapter. These little citizens worldwide starting to side with Hamas. And people starting to slowly but surely, right? Not like these boys, not like Esau, the modern day so-called white man, right? All the men are back Confederacy. So eventually, Turkey, as the reason, what's that? Ezekiel 38 chapter, Goma, and all this bands, right? Turkey gonna click up with the BRICS nation, with India, Russia, Iran, and they gonna go at them Israelis. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have made a wound under thee. There is none understanding in it. Right? So shall I not that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau. Right? Drop down to 10, for they violence against us. Same shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. These other nations getting hit. right? So let me get this right here. They've been feeding lies. Everybody been lied to, right? If you don't want to shake up and investigate yourself, it's gonna be on you, right? Jeremiah 16 and 19. Oh Yahweh, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Shall a man make gods unto himself if they are no gods? Right? You can apply that to our nation, right? That's why we was called Gentiles. Because our forefathers, my father, grandfather, and so on, inherited lies as to who we were because we lost our heritage. Why? Because we broke our covenant, the most high power, the Almighty Howard by Shem Shah. At the same time, these other nations were receiving lies too from their fathers. Right? And you can apply this to these Edomites, especially these Amalekites, because they got in their head, man, they've been brainwashed thinking they the children of the Lord. You are sorely mistaken. And guess what? We finna find out, right? Everything's finna start coming true. It's in the scriptures. We all finna find out who's who. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances to make fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is the use permitted by copyright text that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. So this is fair use, fair use. We got two little clips to play, right? Let's get on down. So like, let's get to the point. I'm still at the deed, right? Still at the plantation. Second Ezra 15:16. For there shall be sedition among me, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in the power, right? Worldwide, you got all these citizens protesting. Now you got these nations trying to pacify their citizens by saying they're gonna recognize Palestine as a state in September. What about doing it now, right? Because the people of Turkey, they demanding that Erdogan send in some forces to go over there and help the people in the Gaza Strip, right? And then you got them Israelis continue to be exposed for the maniacs that they are. They burying kids alive, right? They done brainwashed their population, so they think it's normal, right? So tell me this, so-called American Christian, the people that's over in our homeland fraudulently, they get to go around and hate everybody, hate any and everybody, and kill at will, and nobody says nothing. Don't worry about it. They sins have reached, their iniquities have reached the heavens, right? The Lord's gonna get them. They latter end shall not be well, huh? Let's go back. Get it on me. Numbers 24 and 20. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. That's why I read in Isaiah 14 chapter, prepare slaughter for his children, because of these things that they have done. Now check out this. Fair use, fair use. It's in full effect. Let me show that again, just in case. Because you know what we're talking about. You can't say nothing about them. Fair use is in full effect. Shalom.
The level of brainwashing
Yeah.
that goes on with the Israeli population. They're fed like baby birds the worm of Zionism from birth. So much so that it's easy for them to commit these atrocities. We had interviewed people behind the medical complex, the Nasser Medical Complex. There's a large field that was a grassed area with palm trees, and like many hospitals have, it's a courtyard for people to relax in. It was turned into a mass grave by the Israelis. People who witnessed people being buried in these graves told us a story, which we're pursuing with the ICJ now, of him witnessing two children being pushed into the mass grave by Israeli soldiers with a bulldozer, and then their cries being muffled by the dirt that was poured upon them while they were being buried alive. And then when the bodies were excavated, the red and green shirts of these kids, whose hands were tied behind their backs, were found. That type of monstrousness, that level of heinous behavior, can only happen if your hatred is formulated by design from your birth, right? Because these were accountants, these were laboratory workers, these were normal bankers. The soldiers that are called up to do these things were normal Israelis, and that's why when you look at the polls of the Israeli population, they're overwhelmingly in favor of the complete destruction of Gaza, because they were collectively brainwashed into thinking that all Palestinians are nothing but monsters and terrorists and out to kill every single Israeli. And so the only recourse is to in turn kill them. There is no common ground. The only good Palestinian to most Israelis is a dead Palestinian. And the only reason why they need to be dead is because I want your land, right? A Jew of European descent, an Ashkenazi Jew, has more rights to land in the West Bank. I can go there now and claim land in the West Bank, and I have more right to it. So could you. More right to it than a Palestinian whose family has lived there for 1,000 years. I could displace them, and the Israeli police will support me in even killing the Palestinian who applies for that.
Even to the point of them being internationally known, like, just in the past few weeks, an American from Tampa, a 20-year-old guy whose name I'm embarrassed to say, I don't remember, has been beaten to death. I mean, quite literally beaten to death. And then the ambulance that was sent had a brick or a cinder block thrown through its window to stop it from going to get him. He's, I think,
Kamel Musalat.
That sounds right.
20 years old, was visiting.
20 years old. He owned an ice cream shop with his dad in Tampa.
That's by settlers. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the 6th or 7th Palestinian American who's been killed in the West Bank. Forget Gaza. Nobody has any clue how many Palestinian Americans have been killed in Gaza. But he's the 6th or 7th that's been killed since October 7th, just in the West Bank. This is including, like, I forget, an 11 or 13-year-old boy who was machine gunned. I mean, it's completely crazy. The level of, like Mark said, the level of dehumanization that's very, it's unfortunate, but is really very deep in the psyche of a lot of Israelis. Certainly not all of them, but a lot. Unfortunately, probably something like a majority.
A vast majority, I would say.
Namları oyumu Erdoğan'a veriyorum. Ama şu saatten sonra Gazze'ye bir hareket olmazsa kesinlikle oy vereceğime inanmıyorum. Çünkü biz onun güçlü duruşu için arkasında durduk. İşte dünyaya kafa tutmasıyla ilgili onun arkasında durduk. Yoksa ülkenin ekonomisine ya da ülkenin ahlaki durumuna baktığımız zaman arkasında duracağım bir durum göremiyorum. Filistin kadar yalnız kalan hiçbir ülke olmadı. O bizim. Onu bizden hiç kimse alamaz. Biz sadece çok azız. Buna üzülüyorum ben. Az oluşumuza üzülüyorum. Hala boykot etme işimize üzülüyorum. Buraya geliyorum, açık kapalı diye ayırt etmiyorum. Ama birinin elinde Starbucks bardağı gördüğümde ya da Coca-Cola gördüğümde insan olarak hayal ediyorum ve çok öfkeleniyorum. Neden? Bunu niye yani? O Coca-Cola'yı içmediğim zaman ölmeyeceğim ama içtiğimde birinin ölümüne sebep olacağım. Hani hardal tanesi kadar imanı olan cennete girecek ya, ben inanmıyorum. Onlar Müslümanım, belki hardal tanesi kadar imanları var ama o kola, o Starbucks bardağı onların elinde olduğu sürece o iman onlarda yok. Ben inanmıyorum. Ben 2011 senesinden beri oyumu Erdoğan'a veriyorum. Ama şu saatten sonra Gazze'ye bir hareket olmazsa kesinlikle oy vereceğime inanmıyorum. Çünkü biz onun güçlü duruşu için arkasında durduk. İşte dünyayı kafa tutmasıyla ilgili onun arkasında durduk. Yoksa ülkenin ekonomisine ya da ülkenin ahlaki durumuna baktığımız zaman arkasında duracağım bir durum göremiyorum. Bize ait olan bir yerde böyle bir zulme Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız hala müsaade ediyorsa bizi kaybeder. Çünkü sen çok güçlü bir başkansın. Biz biliyoruz ki Avrupa ondan korkuyor. Bunu biliyoruz. O zaman niye duruyoruz? Biz bir kadın olarak gitmeye hazırız. Hani bize diyorlar ya, gider misiniz? Yemin ediyorum giderim. Sen o zaman bu halka o kapıyı aç. Biz havadan gelecek bir bombaya ya da herhangi bir silahlı ölmeye karşı değiliz ki. Burada bu şekilde vasıfsız durmaya karşıyız. Eğer Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız hala arkasında destek istiyorsa o kapının yollarını açacak, o ilişkileri de bitirecek.
Yapalım ama yeter artık. İcraat. Vakit icraat vakti. Vakit dinim İslam'a sahip çıkma vakti. Kudüs elden giderse mi biz ayaklanacağız? Kudüs Allah göstermesin yıkıldığı zaman mı Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız el atacak? Şu an Sayın Cumhurbaşkanıma da şunu söylüyorum. Yanındayız, dimdik ayaktayız ama icraat yapması lazım. Filistinli mazlumlar onu bekliyor. Allah'ın yardımı onunla, inşallah güç